Introduce our distinguished speaker for this session, CN NIPUN SINGVI sir. Dr. NIPUN SINGVI is a distinguished advocate and fellow chartered accountant, specializing in corporate, commercial and insolvency laws. A PhD in insolvency laws from Washington University. He holds multiple professional qualifications including CS, LLB, LLM, Certified Forensic and IFRS Auditor, and has been a qualified independent director and studied at IIM Ahmedabad. He has appeared before High Courts, Supreme Court, NCLT, NCLAT and various tribunals and has handled 650 plus insolvency cases involving over rupees 1 lakh crore, including several landmark matters. He has been associated with World Bank's Insolvency Group, multiple committees of ICAI, and is a prolific author, speaker, and trainer, having delivered 1600 plus lectures across 70 cities. With that, I invite our respected speaker, CN NIPUN SINGVI sir, to commence today's technical session.
Thank you very much. The branch, WIRC, in fact, I think I am coming here after almost 8 years for again a professional session. I was there in Solapur, I think three or 3.5 months back. Am I audible, no? Thank you very much for inviting me here, and I suppose that topic today is actually very near to my heart, and it has become in the last 8 years one of the biggest practicing area for all the practicing chartered accountants across India. I was also once a practicing chartered accountant, but now I am a practicing advocate. So, still echo is coming. This law, it came into force in 2016. How many of you have heard about this law, or anybody IP in this audience? Not able to hear, sir? Sir, they are not able to hear. Can you increase the volume? No problem. So how many of you are insolvency professionals? None? Nobody has qualified the IP exam? Okay, anybody who has attempted to qualify? One. Anybody else? He's qualified. Okay, attempted. None? Okay. You have also attempted, sir? Qualified? Okay. So 2 we have attempted. How many of you have heard about this law? Okay. So then I am safe. काफ़ी बार ऐसा होता है कि in tier 2 city or 3 city, people have not heard about it. So at least you have heard about it. And now just to understand, anybody can tell me quickly, what do you capture from this particular law? What do you think this law is all about? Anybody? We have audience mic, sir? Audience mic is there? Yes. Anybody who can throw some light? I want to understand your thinking of this law. Then I will apprise you what is there in this law. Anybody? Sir, who has attempted? Sir? Anybody, sir? No one? Young chartered accountant? Anybody? At least give me an idea what do you understand about this law. Okay, I will just tell you what is IBC. It is Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Mangesh sir has left, so I was just telling you, recently Institute has created a board for it. The board's name is Insolvency and Valuation Standard Board. coincidentally I am also a part of it. This is going to be, and today also, one of the biggest practice of the practicing chartered accountants individually as well as that of firms. Two terminologies I used, insolvency and bankruptcy. Correct? I will not let you sleep. You will have to tell me what do you mean by insolvency in your own words. I don't know Marathi, but I can speak English, Hindi. Anybody insolvency के बारे में कुछ बता सकते हैं? What do you have feeling of insolvency? Yes, sir. Sir, can you just pass on the mic to sir, please? Sir, now is it audible, sir? Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
I understand insolvency means a person who has become bankrupt.
A person who has become bankrupt.
He has no resources at his disposal to
Okay.
meet his obligations to his creditors or stakeholders.
Okay.
He's
So-
totally broke.
So, sir, the law says insolvency and bankruptcy code.
Yeah.
So, if suppose insolvency meaning is a bankruptcy, then why two words in the law? Understanding what I am saying?
Yeah.
If there are two words used in a particular name of the law, that means they have to be different.
They have to be different.
Any other person wants to try? Yes, sir. Lady right there, right corner. I think you all are spread at the end. You all can come in front also. It's all empty. Yes, ma'am, please.
Very good afternoon. When we say insolvency, it is normally a state where I'm not able to pay my dues as and when they fall due.
Okay.
I'm falling short of assets to meet my liabilities. And when I
Okay.
say bankruptcy, the court has declared my situation as permanent, that I'm an insolvent. Then I say that the person has gone bankrupt.
Okay, so bankruptcy is defined by using the word insolvency, and insolvency is defined by using the word
No, because
bankruptcy.
when the court declares a particular person as insolvent, the
Okay.
insolvency gets
So
proven.
you want a court approval to declare you as an insolvent?
No, bankrupt.
Only bankrupt.
Only bankrupt.
Okay. Okay, I've gathered what all you have gained from the word. Now I tell you what it means. So let me give you an example. I think almost 15 years back, when IFRS was going to come to India, now it is Ind AS, there was very good example which was given that what you are talking in your balance sheet, maybe US will not be able to understand your balance sheet, maybe China may not be able to understand your balance sheet, because there are different standards, and the internationally accepted standard is IFRS. Now, if you are talking that a person becomes bankrupt, what sir said is right, because he must have read some US literature. In US, a person is bankrupt when he is not able to pay. In US, the terminology used is bankrupt. Any idea who has been bankrupt? Change the slide. US में सबसे बड़ा bankrupt कौन है? You know him? कितनी बार प्रेसिडेंट बन गया है ये? थर्ड टाइम? सेकेंड टाइम? ये आपको नाम दिख रहा है 1 to 6. आपने देखा होगा कि फर्स्ट वन इज ट्रम्प ताजमहल. बैकग्राउंड में आपको इमेज दिख रही है ट्रम्प ताजमहल की? यूएस गया है कोई लास वेगास? सर देखा था क्या कसिनो यहाँ? देखा था. सो है ऐसा. द फर्स्ट बैंकरप्सी बाय मिस्टर ट्रम्प वॉज ट्रम्प ताजमहल, विच इज रेप्लिका ऑफ अवर ताजमहल. और ये सारी होटल्स कसिनो ही है, एंड एज लास्ट एज 2009. सो इंडिया में लेट्स अज्यूम दिस सिचुएशन इन इंडिया. Will you accept, for the sake of understanding I am giving this example, Mr. Malia as our PM? Appears to be impossible, right? This is the difference of this law. A business can be bad, a businessman may not be bad. Kingfisher Airlines was probably a bad business decision, but the Kingfisher dash dash is good. So a business can be bad, a businessman may not be bad or can't be bad only if his business goes wrong. Another important aspect which ma'am said, if my assets are more than my liability, I am solvent. All of you, and I am an old CA, so I am that P1, P2, then CPT came, and also I have gray hairs of foundation inter. So this was the definition that time, that the person is solvent. That means assets are more than liability. It's a net worth positive. Sir, this definition has changed after IBC. The definition has changed. Now it is not a balance sheet test. Now it's a cash flow test. What is cash flow? So let's say I am not able to serve my this month's EMI. I have defaulted in paying my one EMI. For the purpose of this law, I am insolvent. If I am not able to pay my debt obligation, whether for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months or a year, I become insolvent. Clear? So, as per our banking regulation, if I miss an installment for 90 days, I become NPA on 91st day. But as far as IBC is concerned, even if I am missing the installment for 1 month, I become insolvent. I hope it is clear now. So the definition of insolvency has changed. Insolvency is a situation where the person, I am using the word person, it could be living person, natural person, it could be company, it could be LLP, it could be partnership firm. Any person who is not able to serve its debt obligation is insolvent. Clear? So a person would be insolvent if he is not able to pay debt. When he would be bankrupt, I will come on to it. But bankruptcy and insolvency is not the same. Insolvency may end up into bankruptcy, but it may not be compulsory bankruptcy. So insolvency is a process where this law permits the person to revive his business. That's what Mr. Trump did. He has revived his business or probably exited the business. So it is possible that a person is not able to run business because of ABC reasons. It could be policy decision, it could be political decision, it could be government decision, any decision could be there. Any idea how a person can become insolvent? Not because of him, but because of policy decision. Let's say I am a liquor manufacturing company. I have my plants in different states in India. Now one state comes and say, we are declaring the state as dry. So even if I have a plant, I am gone. One infrastructure company who was building checkposts across India, government comes out with a notification of GST and says no checkpost now, no octroi now, gone. So there could be some policy decision which might lead to business being closed off or business going into losses. This particular law does not punish the businessman or the business, but gives a easy exit route. This does not mean that it is going to protect those who are doing any fraudulent activity. How it is different and why it is changing the practice across India. The third word which I used was code. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. What we have read in our syllabus is always an act. What we are talking today is a code. There is a conceptual difference between code and an act. Anybody can tell me the difference? Any idea? When Mr. Chidambaram was there, we were anticipating one direct tax code. When Income Tax Act and Wealth Tax Act was to be combined. That never came to the surface. But we have other codes in India. If you see codes, approximately around 100 years one code comes. It is like CPC, CRPC, IPC. But as far as commercial law is concerned, there was no code. So they brought one code. What is code? It is more than an act. It is having more power than an act. And it is having an overriding effect on the act. Overriding effect is important. What is the overriding effect? So if there is a conflict between code and an act, the code will override. Now, let us assume that a company has not paid its bank dues. What will be the situation? The account will be turned NPA. What will bank do? After an account has become NPA, what will be the bank doing? So what would be the recovery action, sir? Yes, under securitization, what will they do? The first thing is they will issue a notice of recalling the loan amount. That is called 13-2 notice, SARFAESI. If there is a mortgage property, there is a secured asset, mortgage could be a land, security could be stock, any assets which is specifically charged with the bank, the first thing they will do is they will send you 13-2 notice. There is a section 13-2 notice. Please make the payment within 60 days, else we are going to take possession. So possession is second stage. First stage is giving you a defect correction period of 60 days. On 60th day, if you have not paid or not explained the reason of payment, bank shall start taking possession. That is called 13-4. Section 13 subsection 4, possession would be taken. Possession again is of two types. It could be physical possession, it could be constructive possession. But practically what banks do is they come and take a physical possession because they think that the borrower might siphon off the stock, might sell the plant and machinery. Now to take that possession, the procedure is they move an application before magistrate, which is section 14 application. And they get a measure where police person along with bank official will come, do panchnama and put a lock and key of their bank. That's the procedure. Now, suppose a person is not able to pay and you are closing his factory. What will happen? He will not be able to make the payment even otherwise. If the company is stopped, production is stopped, even otherwise the payment won't come. This is the issue. Second, suppose I am not able to pay banks. Probably, in most probability, I will not be able to pay income tax department. I will not be able to pay GST department. What they will do? Same procedure. They will send a demand notice. Then they will send a notice of attachment of my bank account. They will debit freeze my account. Correct? All with me? If at any point of time you are not with me, please let me know. So the actions taken by the bank, the tax department, or any other enforcement agencies actually kill the business. And let's say there is a dispute between bank and the tax authority. Who will take the possession? Bank? Anybody saying department, tax department? No one? Why no one is saying tax department? Suppose the bank has a fixed deposit of the company. Can the bank debit it and use it for their loan repayment? If there is a notice from the tax department of debit freeze, if there is a notice by the tax department of attachment, can the bank do it? So then, sir, the sequence changes, tax wins, and the bank is at the second level. You are agreeing with me or not agreeing with me? I can be wrong also. So tax department is not secured, bank is secured. Is it correct, sir? So attachment is on asset which is not attached. In your income tax return, you disclose no bank account, FDs and all. There is a charge in Income Tax Act also, GST Act also. Let's forget tax department. Suppose Enforcement Directorate has given a notice and attached the bank account. Now, can the bank again put an attachment? Can the bank take the possession? So I have given you three fillers. One is tax department, one is bank, one is enforcement authority. In Maharashtra, we also have something called MPID. Heard about MPID? Okay. So can you just in one line tell what is MPID? Okay, so in Maharashtra, there were various chit fund companies who were collecting money from large public. They have utilized that money in some other company, diverted and siphoned money. To protect those small investors, Maharashtra government came with an act called MPID, Maharashtra Protection of Investor Deposit Act. So in that particular act, Maharashtra authority, that is their active cell is Economic Offence Wing, they have power under the law to make an attachment on the property. And this has been confirmed by Honorable Supreme Court recently in the matter of NSEL. You are aware about that NSEL fraud, National Spot Exchange. So when there are various different authorities, various different laws, over the years what was happening, all the authorities were fighting amongst themselves, and the result was business is closed. Businessman, even if he wants to revive, there is no solution. He can't do it because the law is such that the authorities will take possession, sell the assets and finish off the business. To cure this particular law came. And I will give you some live example. Those who are following listed companies will understand the examples, like JP, which is around 25,000 crores collected from different home buyers, and the homes were not delivered to them. Then SR Steel, the biggest case. A disclaimer, I was also part of the SR Steel case. The revival of SR Steel happened through ArcelorMittal. Any idea how much amount they brought in? It's almost 92% recovery for the bankers. Almost 92%. Amount they brought in was 42,000 crores. And the last bid which the SR promoters gave, the Ruya group gave, was for their own company. First they defaulted, then they wanted to buy it back. The last bid they gave was 54,000 crores. 12,000 crores more than Arcelor. Even when they were ready to pay 12,000 crores more, bankers rejected their offer and accepted the offer of Arcelor. That is the beauty of this law, that the creditors can decide whom to sell company. So the promoters go outside once the company is admitted under insolvency. So once the insolvency kicks in, the promoters are out. And who takes over? Insolvency professional like us. A chartered accountant, a company secretary, a cost accountant or an advocate can become insolvency professional. To eligibility, you should have 10 years of experience as a member. You can be into industry also, and then you can take the certificate of practice and do IP work. At the time of giving exam, you should have completed 10 years. And second, exam has to be clarified. You have to clear the exam and get the registration within a year. This started in 2016. So once insolvency is kicked in, the board of directors are nobody suspended. The board of directors of the company are suspended. And who becomes the board? Insolvency professional. So you become the chairman, MD, CEO, CFO, all in one. No payments from the company can be debited without your signature. That is the power of insolvency professional. That is why I told that if you become an insolvency professional and get one good case, probably you will think of shifting your practice. Many IPs have done it. In fact, the SR Steel, Mr. Gupta, Satish Kumar Gupta, I don't know if you have heard of him or not, very good friend of mine because I appeared for him in SR Steel. He earned officially a remuneration of 12 crores in the SR Steel case. The case went on for 2.5 years. So you can assume and understand the impact of this case. After that matter, he has stopped doing practice. He has just made the fixed deposit of the money and enjoying the interest. And he is advising other IPs. Syntex, 6,000 crores debt purchased by Reliance in 3,000 crores. Again a disclaimer, I was part of Syntex group representing them in the courts and it has been revived by Reliance now. Jet Airways, you all know, it was revived but then because of complex laws they backed off and it is now again in liquidation. I will take the case study of Ruchi Soya a little later, but probably anybody from share market can tell me Ruchi Soya का भाव क्या था insolvency की डेट पे and what is the price today? Anybody? शेयर मार्केट में तो करते ही होंगे आप लोग काम. कब नीचे कितना गया और ऊपर अभी कितना आया है? $3,000 गया और कितना नीचे तक गया था? ₹3. तो कितना हुआ रिटर्न से? ₹3 का 3,000, 3,000% रिटर्न. दैट्स द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ IBC. आहूजा साहब हैं अभी बोर्ड पे. आहूजा साहब आते होंगे ना लेक्चर लेने. आहूजा सर बोर्ड पे है अभी. नाउ let us come to the topic. What is basically IBC? And in very simple language I will tell you, because I am not going into the technicalities of section and judgments, because you all are having a basic idea of IBC. Otherwise I would have gone to the advanced level. It is like this, where you have unclear water, you are putting it into IBC jar and getting a clean water. What is this concept called? Let's say a company has a default of 1,000 rupees and the debt total accumulating is 1,000. Assets which are there with the company, whether mortgage, whether pledge, whether hypothecated, is only of 600 rupees. So what is the deficit? 400? तो ये 400 किसी को मिलेगा? नहीं मिलेगा. पैसा है ही नहीं ना, तो कैसे मिलेगा? So 400 will go, but ये 400 किसका जाएगा? 600 किसको मिलेगा? Yes, give me some answers. किसको मिलेगा? Banks? टैक्स को पहले मिलेगा? इनकम टैक्स ले जाएगा, GST ले जाएगा, और बैंक को क्या मिलेगा? कुछ भी नहीं. Secured creditor, sir, the word is very dicey. इनकम टैक्स में लॉ बोलता है कि जो आपने पैसा नहीं दिया है उसको सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर की ट्रीट करके अरियर्स ऑफ लैंड रेवेन्यू में अटैचमेंट होता है. करेक्ट? ऐसा ही होता है सर इनकम टैक्स में, जीएसटी में भी ऐसा ही होता है. तो व्हेन यू से वर्ड सिक्योर्ड, इट्स वेरी डिफरेंट. सिक्योरिटी इज क्रिएटेड बाय लॉ और सिक्योरिटी इज क्रिएटेड बाय कॉन्ट्रैक्ट. So when you are entering into a financing agreement, security is created by contract. When it is as per law, it is by operation of law. अभी इश्यू है कि दोनों के झगड़े में जीतेगा कौन, उसका जवाब नहीं मिला है. कौन जीतना चाहिए सर? I'll just show you one small chart. सर ये कंपनीज एक्ट 56 है एंड ये आईबीसी है. सो कंपनीज एक्ट यू कैन सी, फॉरगेट अबाउट द फर्स्ट पार्ट, लिक्विडेशन कॉस्ट भूल जाते हैं. इन दैट 1000 में से जो 600 था उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन डिस्कस कर रहे हैं. द फर्स्ट थिंग इट विल गो टू टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट एज सर राइटली सेड. इन आईबीसी इट इज गोइंग टू वर्कर एंड सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर्स डेप्ट. Meaning thereby, in simple language, bankers. So workers का last 24 months and bank का dues is treated on priority. This particular was third level or second level, I would say, in the previous law if liquidation is not there. So government सबसे पहले अपना dues ले जाती थी. For the first time in the history, government is on 5th level. You can see the word crown debts. Crown debts is government dues. Central government, state government or local authorities, they will not take the first pie in the cake. So 600 हमारे example में will go, let's say 300 is outstanding of SBI. That 300 will go to SBI. और बाकी का 300 it will go to workers, it will go to employees. उसके बाद there could be unsecured loan. Private banks give unsecured loan, we have credit card dues, all this is unsecured. So unsecured financial creditor will get the third level and the fourth level would be government dues. उसके बाद कुछ बचा तो other creditors, उसके बाद भी कुछ बच गया तो shareholders. So practically out of that 1,600, 600 normally in my experience gets over by either second level or third level. It does not percolate down to the lowest level. Clear? This is the difference between IBC and the previous law. तो सर इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? इनकम टैक्स और जीएसटी का क्या होगा? बताइए क्या होगा? कुछ मिलेगा नहीं उनको. 95% में कुछ नहीं मिलता. In the cases which have been through IBC, मोटा मोटा टैक्स ड्यूज बिकम जीरो. तो आप ही की तरह मैं एक टैक्स बार एसोसिएशन में लेक्चर लेने गया था बिकॉज दे वर एक्चुअली थिंकिंग कि हर मैटर में IBC हो रहा है और अभी हमारे हाथ से तो अपील्स भी चली गई. So they called me and when I told them this thing, they said इसका मतलब 5 साल बाद तो टैक्स प्रैक्टिस कोई करेगा ही नहीं. Everybody will go for insolvency. होता है ना ऐसा. One peculiar case, I'll not disclose the name of the company. Good company, listed company, 1,000 crore turnover. GST में, if you remember, agro products को exempt किया हुआ था. Zero rate of tax. Then they came out with a notification, I think after 2 years or 3 years of GST, somewhere in 19, that sir आप अगर चावल बेच रहे हो, गेहूं बेच रहे हो और उसमें ब्रांडेड में डाल दिया तो you will be subject to 12% tax. अभी the company came to me and said कि सर हम 1000 करोड़ का टर्नओवर अगर करते हैं हमारा मार्जिन क्या होता है 5%. बहुत हद कर ली तो 8%. इससे ज़्यादा मार्जिन नहीं है और हमारे पर टैक्स कितना इम्पोज हो रहा है? सपोज 12%. तो सर कहाँ से भरेंगे? आई सेड देन वन थिंग इज देयर, गो फॉर इंसॉल्वेंसी. हमने इंसॉल्वेंसी ट्रिगर किया कंपनी में You won't believe कि GST डिपार्टमेंट सेज कि आप कैसे कर सकते हो इंसॉल्वेंसी. अब जब आप इंसॉल्वेंसी डिक्लेयर करते हो, you need not ask anybody. If I want to declare that I am insolvent, I need not ask anybody. I can declare my insolvency automatically. Correct? मुझे डिक्लेयर करना है ना कि मैं इंसॉल्वेंट हूँ. So just come back to these are all sequence, but I think we don't have that much time. I have time till, sir? What is the time allotted to me, sir? 30 minutes more? How much time I have? 10 minutes only. सर आपको अच्छा लगे तो मैं अपनी तरफ से एक्सटेंड कर दूंगा. So there are 4 terminologies. One is insolvency, which I have explained. One is liquidation, which I have not explained. पर आपने ये सब पढ़ा है liquidation. Liquidation में what we do is we make the balance sheet zero. सारी asset बेच दी. So in my example 1000 rupees में से 600 बेच दी. तो that is liquidation. 600 बेच दी. अब 400 का क्या होगा? कुछ नहीं, राइट ऑफ होगा. तो कंपनी का क्या होगा? कंपनी डिसॉल्व हो जाएगी. सो एज ऑफ नाउ देर आर 3 stages of a company. One is insolvency, one is liquidation and one is dissolution. So insolvency is अटैक आया, ICU में लेके गए. लिक्विडेशन मर गया है, अभी उसका विल बनाओ और सारा डिवाइड करो. एंड डिसॉल्यूशन इज हम उसको क्रीमेशन करके आ गए. दैट्स हाउ इट इज. These are the stages: insolvency, liquidation and dissolution in case of companies or in case of LLPs. In case of individual, now I am clarifying the point, ma'am. In case of individual, insolvency, you are giving a chance to that individual to revive back. Thereafter bankruptcy. Bankruptcy means मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है सर, और मैं जितना प्रपोजल लाके दे रहा हूँ बैंक को, क्रेडिटर्स को, वो क्रेडिटर्स अग्री नहीं कर रहे हैं. तो इट गोज फॉर बैंक्रप्सी. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज इन केस ऑफ बैंक्रप्सी, लाइक यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड मिस्टर अनिल अंबानी इज नाउ डिक्लेयर्ड एज इंसॉल्वेंट. हमारे एक फ्रेंड है चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट मिस्टर कोठारी, ही इज अपॉइंटेड एज द आरपी. ही इज गुड फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन, मुंबई से ही है. तो ही इज अपॉइंटेड एज द आरपी ऑफ मिस्टर अंबानी. सो अगर वो फेल होता है, आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल कैसे फेल होता है. ऊपर इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोसेस में 180 डेज मिलता है कंपनी को. इन केस ऑफ इंडिविजुअल दे हैव रिड्यूस्ड इट टू 120 डेज. व्हाट इज दिस 120 और 180 डेज? आपको टाइम मिलता है, यू कैन कम आउट विद अ बेल आउट प्रपोजल. जैसे हम OTS का सेटलमेंट लेके जाते हैं, वैसे वी आर कमिंग आउट विद अ सेटलमेंट प्रपोजल फॉर द क्रेडिटर्स. अगर वो एग्री कर लेते हैं, इट्स गुड. इफ दे डोंट अग्री, जैसे हमारे अभी केस में, आई वॉज डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द सिंटेक्स मैटर. सो उनके वन ऑफ द प्रमोटर्स, आई विल शेयर यू द ऑर्डर, इट जस्ट केम लास्ट वीक. सो व्हाट हैड हैपेंड इन दैट केस वाज कि आउटस्टैंडिंग इन वन ऑफ देयर कंपनी इज 600 करोड़. वो बोलता है सर मेरे पास तो सिर्फ 5 करोड़ हैं आपको देने के, इन माई पर्सनल कैपेसिटी. कंपनी तो गई रिलायंस के पास. सो आई हैव दिस मच अमाउंट टू पे, तो यू प्लीज एक्सेप्ट. स्टेट बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा एंड IDBI, these 3 were the bankers, constituting almost 99% of the creditor committee. They said, boss, इसके पास बहुत सारी assets हैं. He has parked assets. He has sold assets to his unknown relatives. We don't want. We want bankruptcy. He increased 5 crores proposal to 8 crores because he was fearing that if they get into investigation, I will get more assets out. Even at 8 crores, they did not agree. Now the person is under bankruptcy. So why did go for bankruptcy? So giving you the live example, when the RP was appointed. So as an RP, हम अंतर्यामी नहीं है, ज्योतिष नहीं है, हमको पता पड़ेगा उसकी कौन सी assets कहाँ हैं. So what we will do is, we will write to income tax department, we will write to GST department. We will also appoint an investigator to find out the assets. It's called asset tracking agency. So they will track down कि उसकी कौन सी assets थी और कौन सी नहीं है. तो जब assets track down agency लगाई तो पता पड़ा कि उसकी जो भी प्रॉपर्टी ancestral थी, ब्रदर्स के साथ थी, उसने अपने ब्रदर्स को गिफ्ट डीड कर दी. ड्यूरिंग द प्रोसेस ऑफ इंसॉल्वेंसी ऑफ द कंपनी. उसकी पर्सनल चालू नहीं हुई थी, कंपनी की पहले चालू हो गई थी, तो ही ट्रांसफर्ड इट. तो उसने गिफ्ट डीड करके अपने भाई को, अपनी सिस्टर को, व्हाटएवर अपनी फैमिली मेम्बर्स को ट्रांसफ़र कर दी. वो पूरा डेटा अगर हम इंक्लूड करें तो शायद वो डेटा भी हैंडसम अमाउंट आ रहा था. सो बैंक सेड नथिंग डूइंग, वी वुड लाइक टू ट्रिगर फॉर बैंक्रप्सी. सो बैंक्रप्सी होने के बाद व्हाट इज द इम्पोर्टेंस इज इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल now becomes the bankruptcy trustee. What is bankruptcy trustee? As per law, आप उसके ओनर बन जाएंगे. So suppose he has 5 crores or 10 crores or 50 crores of assets, wherever it is located, by deeming fiction, you become the owner. The assets vest in the bankruptcy trustee, and only you have the power to sell it. Even the banks cannot sell it, and you will have to sell it and then divide the amount with the banks. As I told you, in this case there are 3 banks, so you can understand the whole system. Insolvency, because I was on the company side also, so company में when the assets are sold, so अगर insolvency process में गया, so the remuneration is on basis of claims. जितना ज़्यादा claim है उतना आपका remuneration है. Minimum to minimum it is 1 lakh approximately per month. Maximum to there is no limit. I told you he earned 12 crores in 2.5 years. Liquidation में there is a percentage, so it can vary from 0.5% to 2%. there is a slab. अगर आपने assets जल्दी बेची और quantum आपका ज़्यादा है तो bigger slab will apply and that much amount you will get. अगर आपने, जैसे sir was giving an example of work in progress, आप टाइम नहीं है हम लोग नहीं तो case study discuss करते. One of our fellow chartered accountants, he was an IP. He took an interpretation कि जितनी asset मैं बेचूंगा उतना पैसा मिलेगा. कंपनी में काफ़ी बड़ी कंपनी थी, उसका रनिंग यूनिट था पर लिक्विडेशन में चली गई. लिक्विडेशन में उसने जो माल बना के बेचा उस पर भी उसने रेम्यूनरेशन ले लिया, तो मिसकंडक्ट कर दिया. वो रेम्यूनरेशन ज़्यादा नहीं, बस 5 करोड़ ही था. उसका टोटल रेम्यूनरेशन कुछ 13 करोड़ है. अगर आपको डिसिप्लिनरी ऑर्डर पढ़ना है तो आप पढ़िएगा, बट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू कि इट्स अ वेरी बिग अपॉर्चुनिटी. यू ऑल कैन थिंक अबाउट गोइंग इनटू इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रैक्टिस. I'll just quickly, this is section 238. I always give this example. This one-liner section is much more important than any other law which we are discussing. Because of this one-liner section, it is overriding income tax, GST, custom, also PMLA. Also PMLA. And they've clarified it now by amending the section 32 capital A. Explicitly they have said any enforcement agency or attachment. So this section is very important. If in case it is a real estate company, this will override RERA also. So any law overridden by this. I'll just give 2 examples of how a company can be insolvent. So see, this is an example where the company is having good land, building, they have taken loan, but loan is very less in comparison to value of land. Let's say it's a hotel. Now if they are not able to serve their loan, EMI, it will become insolvent, even if there is a higher amount of value of land. You can't sell the land because it's a hotel. Why will you sell 150, let's say, crores of property for 75 crores of loan? Let's say situation like COVID has come. You are not able to serve the loan. Now in this situation, it is better to go for pre-pack insolvency. What is pre-pack insolvency? Sometimes there are 2 or 3 bankers. They don't agree. They don't want to reduce your loan or give you time for repayment. So what you can do is you can yourself initiate insolvency and you yourself can buy it back. Just like a legalized format of restructuring. Here, every banker is comfortable because it has the blessings of NCLT. In RBI circulars, everybody will say, I will go to the board, come back. हमारा board 3 महीने में एक बार मिलता है. उसके बाद आपका proposal reject हो जाएगा. Then you go for a revised proposal. All those things are going to happen. But in this law, time-bound manner, law says whoever is coming from the bank in the committee to meet, they have to approve, they should have the authority, and the process will end in 180 days. That's the upper limit. In situations, it can go to court, it can be extended from 6 months to 1 year, based on case-to-case basis. Like in SR, it got over in 2.5 years. So it can be there. Now another example, very important for all of you, because what I understand is most of you are tax practitioners. Even if the balance sheet is positive, assets are more, but there is a contingent liability which you have not accounted for in the balance sheet. It's an off balance sheet item. ऐसा होता है ना बहुत बार, कोई litigation पड़ा है tribunal में, high court में, and Supreme Court gives a finding in another case which will apply to your case, and that liability will become final. हम लोग litigate करते हैं, major order आ जाता है negative, so then it will wipe off your balance sheet. So something which is sitting down your balance sheet comes into your balance sheet and demolishes your balance sheet. In this case also, it is good to go for insolvency. This is suo motu insolvency. I gave you an example of that agro products also. So it can happen that there is some departmental reasoning or some notification or some ruling which is impacting your client. It is better to trigger insolvency. There have been cases like this, like Reliance Communication, like Aircel, like Videocon, where they went for suo motu insolvency. Aircel was the one to go for suo motu insolvency. Now, suppose I want to initiate insolvency. Once the insolvency is admitted by NCLT, it is like Sanjeevani booty. How? No department or enforcement agency or court is going to touch the company or its assets. Nobody is going to touch it. Even if there is an attachment on the bank account, attachment will go away. That money can be used by insolvency professional. How will you run the show? So you will get all the bank unfreezed once insolvency order is there. Suppose there are 5 bank accounts, all are attached. All attachments goes away. You have a pool of assets, that is the bank accounts. You can also sell assets and bring in money. And all the claimants are standing in the line. I told you what is the line. Priority. First, the secured financial creditors, then the unsecured financial creditors, then other creditors. That's the broad lineage. Not working, sir. Okay. Not working. Second important and good area of practice is under insolvency, each and every asset has to be valued by minimum 2 valuers. It is in the law. Now, who can be valuers? So there are 3 categories. As per law, 1 category is land and building, 1 category is plant and machinery, 1 category is SFA, securities and financial assets. For the 3rd category, chartered accountants need to qualify the exam of IBBI to become the registered valuer. So that most of the chartered accountants are doing it. So you can also become a valuer, and compulsory in every company, 2 valuers will be appointed. So in total it will be 6, and average valuation will have to be given. Why this valuation is done? So this valuation is done, let's say that 600 in our example, that valuation is called the liquidation value. In simple words, distress value. So there are 2 types of valuation. One is called liquidation value, one is called fair value. Fair value will always be more than the liquidation value. But when you have to take a decision, that is the creditors have to take a decision, which RP will have to guide. RP will always bring this liquidation value to the table so that you have to negotiate at minimum this price. That's the minimum base price, or I would say minimum reserve price. Last week, I did a very, I would say, unique case. It is a listed company. You can just see the order. The name of the company is Dharti Proteins Limited. It is listed on NSE BSE. I was arguing for the RP. In that particular case, we have made, let's say the total claim were 100 rupees. we were able to sell it for 130 rupees, more than the liquidation value, to the extent of 30%. Any idea why? Any idea? कंपनी के पास जितना लिक्विडेशन वैल्यू था उससे ज़्यादा में बिकी और सारे क्रेडिटर्स को पे हो गया. All creditors are paid. Is it possible? Why? Why somebody will give you more than what is the valuation? So chartered accountants, we all are chartered accountants. Okay, इसके अलावा कोई CA वाला आंसर? फ्यूचर कैश फ्लोज नहीं. अरे सर, जो कंपनी डिफॉल्टर है उसमें कैरी फॉरवर्ड लॉस होगा ना सर. जिस कंपनी में 100 करोड़ का लॉस है, आपने उसको इंसॉल्वेंसी में खरीद लिया, आपकी कंपनी का 500 करोड़ प्रॉफिट है, आप मर्ज कर दोगे ना. कितने का फायदा हुआ? वेरी सिंपल. सीए तो ऐसे ही दिखता है ना बैलेंस शीट को, उसको क्या करना है बाकी सब चीजों से? कैरी फॉरवर्ड और लॉस देखेगा, अरे 30% फायदा है. सेकंड, जो कंपनी लिस्टिंग के अंदर मिनिमम टू मिनिमम लिस्टिंग एक्सपेंस इज 1 करोड़ मिनिमम. कोई भी कंपनी को आप लिस्ट कराने जाओगे, आपका इतना खर्चा लगेगा, यू गेटिंग इट फ्री. आलोक इंडस्ट्रीज रिलायंस ने खरीदी थी, आप देखो शेयर्स उसके. रुचि सोया, आई गेव यू द एग्जांपल. सो it is win-win situation for everybody if it is company is having some worth. I think we just have 5 minutes more. I am going to touch only the important part so that everything. Okay, this one is important which I told you कि कोई भी तरीके का litigation कंपनी को harm नहीं करेगा during the insolvency process. So bank accounts was an example. क्या जो property का possession बैंक ने ले लिया था बिफोर इंसॉल्वेंसी, इन अवर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ सार्फेजी, वो वापस मिल जाएगा आरपी को? सर कुछ तो बोलो, यस और नो. मिल जाएगा. सो ऑल एसेट्स वेदर टेंजिबल और इनटेंजिबल ऑफ द कंपनी विल कम बैक टू द आरपी. नो पर्सन कैन टेक कंट्रोल एंड कस्टडी ऑफ द एसेट्स अदर देन द आरपी, इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल. तो आपके पास क्या हुआ? सारी एसेट्स आ गई, सारा कंट्रोल कस्टडी आ गया, सारा बैंक अकाउंट आ गया, तभी तो आप उसका वैल्यूएशन करके बेचोगे. दैट इज द ब्यूटी ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर लॉ. यू बिकम सीईओ, एमडी, सीईओ, सीएफओ, कंपनी सेक्रेटरी, एवरीथिंग ऑफ द कंपनी वंस यू आर अपॉइंटेड बाय द एनसीएलटी. करेक्ट? आई विल जस्ट शो यू द प्रोसेस हाउ इट फॉर्म्स. Who can initiate insolvency quickly? Company can suo motu also go, and company can also go when the creditors file for it. आप देख रहे हैं who can be the creditors? Two category, financial and operational. Financial मतलब all the banks. In simple words, all the banks. Or NBFC. Or somebody who has lent money to the company, let's say factoring company. Now operational creditors. सबसे tricky situation is operational creditors. Employees, labor, vendor, tax department also. So tax department can also initiate insolvency. सर चालू हो गया महाराष्ट्र में, मुंबई में GST department has filed insolvency. So another area of practice where tax department are going for insolvency. Now is it advisable or not? That is again facts of the case. Because tax department might end up paying nothing. They will not receive anything. It is possible. So वो क्या करते हैं? It happened with me. हमारा एक मॉल था, औरा मॉल. It was in भोपाल. So basically insolvency हुई. तो मॉल के अंदर उनको पता पड़ा म्युनिसिपल अथॉरिटीज़ को, म्युनिसिपल टैक्स इज गुड अमाउंट इन मध्य प्रदेश. दे सेड कि सर ये हमारा जीरो हो रहा है. अभी वो मॉल खरीद लिया दैनिक भास्कर ने. आई वॉज द लॉयर फॉर द लिक्विडेटर, सो रिवाइव हो गया. नाउ द पॉइंट वॉज कि उन्होंने बोला सर हमारा अमाउंट जीरो हो गया, तो हम इंसॉल्वेंसी कर देते तो पहले हमको मिल जाता. हमने बोला कि अगर उसके पास पैसा होता तो आपको मिल जाता, क्योंकि देन ही वुड हैव सेटल्ड द मैटर. we would have withdrawn the insolvency. But अब आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा because of the waterfall. You are on the 5th level, आपको कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला. You won't believe कि उन्होंने दूसरे 5 मॉल का काम हमको दे दिया कि आप इंसॉल्वेंसी का नोटिस दो. अच्छा, a chartered accountant for his audit fee can he file insolvency? Yes, इंडिया का जो सेकंड केस था वो एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट का ही था, संजय अग्रवाल. अभी उन्होंने अमाउंट बढ़ा दिया है, 1 लाख रुपए पहले डिफॉल्ट के लिए you could have gone to insolvency. Now that amount has been increased from 1 lakh to 1 crore. So minimum 1 crore amount has to be there to initiate insolvency, so that छोटे-छोटे cases नहीं आए. That is the idea of the government. But they have put that block to 10 lakh rupees for MSME. So अगर MSME है तो they can go for 10 lakhs default also. Otherwise 1 crore. 1 lakh वाला हटा दिया अभी. Second important thing is real estate companies. So in case of real estate companies, I told you the first example of JP Infra. So JP Infra में एक unique situation आई, बैंक का लगा था 7,500 crores. लेकिन होम बायर्स का था 25,000 करोड़. Now the law says once insolvency is admitted, who is going to sit in the committee? Financial creditors only. Secured, unsecured, whatever. But only financial creditors. तो home buyers जिनका ज़्यादा पैसा था बैंक से, they were not allowed to sit in the committee of creditors. So क्या हुआ? सारे association ने home buyers की petition की, and the case is Chitra Sharma versus Union of India. I was also for one of the flat buyers association. We filed it and Supreme Court said home buyers will have to be treated as financial creditors. And on 6th June 2018, government by notification added this explanation, which you can see in red, that any allottee in a real estate project will have to be treated as a financial creditor. In 2017 and 2018, they were not treated. But because of Chitra Sharma versus Union of India, Supreme Court direction, government came out with this explanation and said, retrospectively, we are treating the home buyers as financial creditors. Now the process. Once you want to initiate insolvency and you file an application in NCLT, whether by creditor or the company, normally the court will issue notice to, suppose I am the company, I have filed insolvency. Court will issue notice to financial creditors and normally the banks. How will the court come to know about the banks? That company has to disclose, or court can also get the data from MCA. So MCA, you have that index of charges. From that they normally issue notice to bankers. Suppose the creditor has filed. Suppose SBI has filed. So in that case, company has to be heard. Why it has to be not admitted under insolvency? So they will have to come and defend the case. Now, once the insolvency is admitted by the NCLT, the person who is proposed in the application is appointed as insolvency professional. So maximum of our work will come from the bankers who are aware that ye account NPA and we want to file insolvency. So your consent letter will have to accompany their petition to NCLT. Second, you can also be on the panel of NCLT. So NCLT can directly appoint you if no consent letter is there with the application. Once it is admitted, this is the public announcement which has to be printed in newspaper where the registered office of the company is there. One in English and one in vernacular language. Now this is a public announcement to the public to tell them, please come and file your claim. You have to file your claim within, now there are 3-4 timelines. If you are a financial creditor and you are going to sit in the committee, you will have to file it within 14 days so that you can come and sit in the meeting. It is not, you cannot also file on 15th day, but then if the meeting is called, you will not be invited. So the first meeting has to be invited on 30th day. 30 days the first meeting has to happen. Who is going to be in this committee? I told you the financial creditors will be in the committee. So your question should be, sir, in case of real estate, home buyers are financial creditors. How will they come in meeting? So the now law has provided, if it is a class like class of home buyers, another insolvency professional will be appointed So if I am X insolvency professional, I want to appoint for you home buyers another IP, it would be Y. I cannot act as a representative of them. And I have to give 3 options of IP for home buyer, and then home buyer will have to vote, yes, we are keeping this one. So you are understanding what are the opportunities. The RP who is there of the company, the RP who is there for the home buyers, then valuers, and last I will come on to the forensic audit also. So board of directors are suspended. Chairman of now the meeting is the insolvency professional, and the directors will sit in this meeting but only to observe and assist. Voting rights in this meeting will be only with financial creditors. Important thing, it is possible that I as a director have also given loan to the company. So I am also a financial creditor. So can I also vote in this meeting? My brother has given money to the company. Can he also come in the meeting? Answer is no. Related party financial creditors are not allowed in the meeting, whether to represent, whether to vote. They don't have vote in the meeting. But if you are also a suspended management, you will have a voice in the meeting. So you have voice but no vote. Broadly, this is the timeline. 180 days, the plan should have been approved by the committee, and the committee has to approve it by 66%. The percentage to approve a plan is 66. If it is 1% less also, sorry, it will be rejected, company will go into liquidation. So I've given you example like Syntex has been revived by Reliance, JP has been revived. All these companies which are revived, it is resolution, and for suspended management, they become ex-management. So like Reliance, let's say Reliance Infra has been revived. But then Anil Ambani's liability will not reduce. So suppose the company had taken loan of 100 rupees. 60 rupees is recovered from the company. For 40 rupees, still he will be liable. So the deficit in recovery will be liable to be recovered from the guarantors of the company. I think I'll skip this and I will directly come on to this. Why it is happening that now under resolution plan, people are buying company. So one example I gave you of carry forward of losses. Second example I gave you of listed companies. Third example is, suppose there is income tax dues, suppose there is GST dues, suppose there is municipal tax dues, everything will become zero. And this has been now not only confirmed by the legislature but also by judiciary. So Supreme Court has in a very fantastic order, if you get time please read it, Ghanshyam Mishra versus Edelweiss ARC. In that judgment, around 150 pages judgment, discuss the concept of IBC, and they have also discussed the concept of clean slate theory, which means that the person who is buying the company under insolvency, he is buying it as a clean asset value, and he will not be liable for previous dues. It cannot happen that I revive the company, then I start making profit after 2 years, and then tax department comes and says, no, you will have to pay the backward dues. Sorry, that cannot be done. So all tax dues will go away. This was, I wanted to discuss this case study, but time is not permitting. I will share the presentation with you all. This is the first case of SR Steel, where ArcelorMittal and the Ruya Bag Group both were disqualified. So there were 2 rounds. First round, both disqualified. Second round, ArcelorMittal was declared as winner. First round, why ArcelorMittal was not declared? Because its 2 group entities were NPA. Uttam Galva Steel and KSS Petro. These were 2 entities which were NPA. So to clear the ineligibility, only to apply was 6,000 crores for the Mittal group. They cleared it, then they became eligible, and then they could buy it. ये पढ़ा है किसी ने सुना है? You know everybody on the chart? Sir, we are getting recorded. तो मैं इसके बारे में कुछ बोलूंगा नहीं, आप पढ़ लेना. because I have not prepared it. आप देख रहे हैं कि द वायर लिखा है. द वायर is a magazine which came out with this कि how Adani cannot buy Ruchi Soya. Adani could not buy Ruchi Soya because of this chart. You just can read it. The bid of Adani, I'm getting recorded. So I actually discussed it in one of the sessions in Ahmedabad. He's connected to Rotomac. Rotomac का आप थोड़ा सा स्टडी करेंगे तो you will get to know some fraud of 3,000 crores has been declared. Mr. Kothari has been declared as fraud under the RBI regulation. Adani, Mr. Pranav Adani was heading Adani Wilmar. His wife is daughter of Mr. Kothari. So law says you are disqualified if your relative is fraud, willful defaulter or NPA for more than 12 months. Understood, sir? So we will also have to now structure our marriage in such a way that we don't get defaulted. ये दो केस भी अच्छे हैं नीचे, but we don't have time. Over the lunch we will discuss because I am also lawyer in Jatin Mehta case. वो जो सबसे पहले मेहुल चौकसी वाला केस हुआ था, उससे पहले का केस है. I'll just immediately come on two important aspects because I think we have already crossed the time. When can the settlement happen? So application लगी, आपने decide होने से पहले settle कर लिया, तो application can be easily withdrawn. Insolvency admit हो गई, public announcement आ गया, then you have 30 days to settle with the petitioner. लेकिन RP को तो पैसा देना पड़ेगा for 30 days. तो हमारी फीस तो फिक्स है, उसमें कोई टेंशन नहीं है. 30 days के बाद जब फर्स्ट COC होती है, अगर हो गई तो then he has to get approval of the COC with 90% majority. So अगर बैंकर्स आ गए और बैंक ने बोला नहीं अकाउंट वैसे ही NPA है, हम इंसॉल्वेंसी विड्रॉ नहीं करने देंगे, then insolvency cannot be withdrawn. So these are the three stages when settlement can happen. NCLT, NCLAT and Supreme Court. For resolution plan, for RP, everything. Declared as a criminal, like I will come on to the criminal part, it is on the next slide. Then there is a special court, then High Court and then Supreme Court. But as an RP, we are only answerable to NCLT. No, nothing. And you can appear anywhere, no problem. And in NCLT, you will have two judges, one judicial, one technical. And most of the technical are either chartered accountants who are into practice, like अभी बॉम्बे में है कक्कड़ साहब. So he was also a chartered accountant practicing like us in finance sector. Then इनसे पहले VK गुप्ता साहब थे. He was ITAT member. उससे पहले CA practice में थे. Then he became NCLT judge. Now he is retired. So everywhere the chartered accountant is there as a technical member or retired commissioner income tax. Commissioner from revenue department are more as a technical member. Judicial member में normally they are judges of maybe eligible to be a high court judge or maybe a civil judge for maybe more than 20 years. And mostly इसमें जो age limit है that is 65. So that's how they come down here. So it is not required now, only NCLT approves it. It can be challenged in NCLAT and then it can be challenged in Supreme Court. It cannot be appointed ना sir, law is of NCLT. So आपका क्वेश्चन कैसा है कि सर इनकम टैक्स ट्रिब्यूनल नहीं जाऊंगा, सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाऊंगा, तो लॉ में ही नहीं है सर. लॉ इज NCLT, NCLAT एंड सुप्रीम कोर्ट. सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज द फाइनल अथॉरिटी. प्लान अप्रूवल NCLT में होगा, उसका चैलेंज NCLAT में होगा, NCLAT का ऑर्डर चैलेंज सुप्रीम कोर्ट में होगा. इसमें हाई कोर्ट सुप्रीम कोर्ट है ही नहीं. दिस इज अ वेरी गुड केस. अगेन हमारे पास टाइम नहीं है बट आप पढ़ना, बिकॉज हमारे एक फ्रेंड चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट अनुज जैन, ही वॉज द RP and in his forensic audit report he found out that this transaction is a fraudulent transaction where the JP group when JP Associate Limited was given loan on the asset of JP Infra. And JP Infra कौन सा? जो चित्रा शर्मा का केस मैंने बताया रियल एस्टेट वाला. So when they were into problem, what they did was they mortgaged land of JP Infra to give funding to JP Associate, which was reversed by Supreme Court. It is 858 acres of land reversed. And there are also comments against State Bank of India of indulging in collusion with the promoter. अभी तो JP Associate भी insolvency में चली गई. That's a different story. But this is a very important case. There are 4 types of transaction which have to be compulsorily identified by the RP with the help of a forensic auditor. These are called PUFE: preferential, undervalued, fraudulent, and extortionate. What are these 4 kinds of transaction? Suppose I have to pay money. A and B are creditors. B is bank, A is my relative. Because my relative can give loan to the company. I don't pay bank and I pay to my relatives. This is preferential transaction. Suppose I have a stock which is market value is 100 rupees. I am selling it at 80 rupees to my relative, 20 rupees to my relative. मेरा माल है मैं बेच सकता हूँ. But this is undervalued transaction. So this is undervalued. Fraudulent, सर मैंने माल बेच दिया पैसा ही नहीं आया. Debtors ही नहीं मिल सकते. जो fake billing, bogus billing, fraudulent. And last one is extortionate. Extortionate का champion is Donald Trump. What he does is, आपने लोन लिया बैंक से, suppose आप दे रहे हो 12%. मैं पैसा लेता हूँ आपसे, मैं लेता हूँ आपसे 50 रुपए, लेकिन इंटरेस्ट दे रहा हूँ 48%. So I am increasing your debt more than the bank's debt, so that when insolvency happens, 66% में ये मेरे काम आ जाएंगे. That is called extortionate credit transaction. ये सारे बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, बट हम लोगों को एक फुल डे IBC करना पड़े इसके लिए. This is the time limit. PUFE transaction last 2 years for related party, last 1 year for unrelated party. This is the time limit where PUFE transaction have to be identified and courts direct reversal of these transactions. So अभी हमारे केस में एक प्रॉपर्टी 1.25 करोड़ में बेच दी थी, जिसकी एक्चुअल वैल्यू 2.5 करोड़ थी. So court reversed that transaction. So if it's a undervalued transaction, NCLT has the power to cancel that sale transaction also. So this brings us to the end of my session, sir. Any questions? I am available here.
Any questions?
Questions are invited. Anyone?
Sir, what can be the possible reasons where insolvency application is not admitted?
Where are you, sir?
Yes, here.
Yes, sir.
What are the possible reasons where insolvency application is not admitted?
Sir, there could be many reasons. Like, I have given you example of 2 applications which can be filed by the creditor. 99% of cases filed by the banks will be admitted, because NPA is very simple: loan given, loan not paid, defaulted. But in case, suppose I have given you, like in real estate company, one of my live case, I had sold you property, you have given me money. Now we had entered into a buyback agreement. After 3 years, I will buy back that particular property at suppose 150 rupees. Original sale 100 rupees, 150 rupees, let's say after 5 years. After 5 years, I don't buy it. You file an insolvency petition that he is not paying me 150. Now this particular transaction will be rejected because it is a choice to buy or not. It is not a loan. It may be an agreement, but it will not be a insolvency case. You can go in commercial court, file suit, that's a different. Then operational creditor. Like I gave you example of tax department filing insolvency. Demand is there, appeal is not filed, they file insolvency. You file appeal immediately. So then insolvency petition is not maintainable. Suppose we two are transacting. One of the case, Reliance and Adani. It was there in newspaper also. Reliance wanted money from Adani, they filed an insolvency petition. Okay. Now that particular agreement was because of some quality issues, it has to be gone to arbitration. Arbitration notice was already given. So then once the proceeding under different law is already started, for operational creditors, it cannot come to NCL. So there could be number of reasons, like in section, I am myself going for insolvency as a company. Going it to only evade enforcement directorate action. Then it will not be admitted, it will be rejected. So there are various reasons on case-to-case basis. There is no list in the law, but only by judgments we come to know that courts are rejecting it. But mostly section 7 petitions are admitted and 99% of banks cases are admitted. Yes. So, sir, there are many such suggestions which are given to the IBBI. One of the bill is pending, which possibly will clear in the winter session, because Standing Finance Committee has already cleared. So there are so many issues, but as of now, I will not be able to enumerate everything because you all are not RPs. Otherwise, I would have given you some examples. How RPs are being forced, like in enforcement director case, they are summoned that you please come and depose here, which is not the job of RP. So there are various things like sales tax department in Gujarat had attached the property and they said that it is a separate law, we should be treated as secured creditor. High Court gave them protection. So that amendment is now pending in Parliament that it cannot be done, state law will not apply. So all those things are there. There are many challenges in this law. We require at least 2-day complete sessions on understanding the IBC word by word, and then once you start practice, you will come out with your own problems, your own issues. Because everywhere there are different issues. When I go to Bangalore, there the company does not have any factory. They all are doing work on IT. It's very difficult to find the assets, very difficult to tap the revenue. One of the company which is under insolvency, it was making currency, that cryptocurrency. Now what are the assets? We don't know. As an IP, we are not IT guy. How to get tracked? So there are issues and issues. How you go, which place you go. Like in Calcutta I went, there Mamta ji said RERA will not be enforced. So for 5 years there was no RERA in Calcutta, in West Bengal. Ultimately Supreme Court in 24 gave an order that state cannot make their own law, they will have to follow what Parliament has made. So there are so many issues, sir. Any specific issue or anybody with related to IP wants to ask anything with regard to exam and anything? Correct. Sir, चलता रहता है. Sir, you will have to understand, concept of act is different. Parliament is different. See, law says a specific case goes to court. Some illegalities or irregularities will be pointed out. Court can always order to rectify. How Supreme Court will come into picture? There has to be case which is going from NCLT to NCLAT, NCLAT to Supreme Court. Only then Supreme Court has any power to do. Parliament will always have committees to examine the policy, examine the decisions and make corrective law. They cannot direct a specific person. They cannot, let's say tomorrow summon Adani. They can't do it. Parliament can only make a general law. There are so many allegations on Adani Group that they have acquired 56,000 crores of debt. At how much? 56,000 crores of debt at valuation of, any idea? 16,000 crores have been wiped off. 40,000 crores they have bought the assets of 56,000 crores. There's so many news, so many articles on it. So anybody can interpret anything. Ultimately on case to case basis, somebody will have to tell that this is the allegation. Like I gave you one example. If there was an allegation, they backed out. And it was bought by Patanjali. So there could be allegations. There is nothing wrong in making allegations. There is nothing right in every case which is admitted. There are always pitfalls in all the cases. Yes, sir. Any other query? Yes,
Guys,
sir. Please.
due to time constraints, sir,
Sir, okay,
we are
sir.
just
Then we can take
pausing
it on
our
lunch.
caution.
Okay. We can meet over lunch.
Last question.
One last question.
Gentleman in blue shirt. 8th row, I think.
Stand up.
Yes, sir.
सर अमलगमेशन होने के बाद जो टैक्स का बेनिफिट मिलेगा अभी नए कंपनी को जो अच्छी नेटवर्क वाली है, ठीक है, तो जब एसेट ट्रांसफ़र होगी उस कंपनी को तो उसके ऊपर
मर्जर में ट्रांसफर नहीं होता सर, नॉर्मली स्कीम ऑफ मर्जर ही डालते हैं रिजोल्यूशन प्लान में. सो जो एलिंग कंपनी है और जो परचेजिंग कंपनी वो ही रिजोल्यूशन प्लान में स्कीम डाल देती है.
बराबर. तो उन्होंने प्लान डाल दिया, वो सारे एसेट आ गए उस कंपनी के पास जो
मर्ज हो गया सर, मर्ज हो गया.
एसेट आ जाएंगे ना, लेकिन जो भी लैंड प्रॉपर्टी है
मर्जर में जैसा होता है सर, नॉर्मल अमालगमेशन मर्जर.
बराबर. तो जब एसेट ट्रांसफर होगी तो उधर स्टैम्प ड्यूटी भी देनी पड़ सकती है क्या?
मर्जर में नहीं लगती ना सर. जो डॉक्यूमेंट ऑफ ट्रांसफर है उस पे रेलेवेंट स्टेट पे ड्यूटी लग सकती है.
महाराष्ट्र में
एनसीएलटी में नहीं लगेगी. यू अंडरस्टूड द पॉइंट? लाइक पतंजलि हैज एक्वायर्ड रुचि सोया. Okay. Now what they've done is they've merged it. Now if you will search by the name, what will come? That company name. बैलेंस शीट तो मर्ज हो गई दोनों की. अभी आपको रेलेवेंट स्टेट में जाके नाम चेंज करवाना है तो डिफरेंट स्टेट्स हैव डिफरेंट ड्यूटीज. लाइक इन केस ऑफ महाराष्ट्र यू हैव MIDC. इन MIDC there is a law that if your shareholding is changing more than 50%, then you will have to pay that transfer fee.
नहीं, लेकिन ये तो
so it is applicable for mergers also. So it depends on the state. Like Maharashtra different, Gujarat different, Delhi different. Delhi is the most convenient for stamp duty.
ये लॉ तो सबके ऊपर का लॉ है ना, इसके लिए पूछ रहे हैं.
सर स्टेट लॉ ड्यूटी ले रहा है आफ्टर प्लान अप्रूवल. प्री प्लान अप्रूवल के ड्यूज 0 हो रहे हैं. प्री प्लान अप्रूवल के ड्यूज. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैंने इंसॉल्वेंट कंपनी को मर्ज कर लिया उसके बाद रेवेन्यू कमाया उस पर टैक्स नहीं देना है. उस पर तो टैक्स देना ही है. पुराने टैक्स ड्यूज आपके ऊपर नहीं आएंगे. इफ यू आर डूइंग अ मर्जर subsequently you have to pay something, you have to pay. Previous dues are 0. सर थोड़ा तो पैसा दो गवर्नमेंट को.
Just be seated, everyone, please. सर ने इतना अच्छा लेक्चर दिया है तो let us thank them very gratefully. Please be seated.
बहुत ही अच्छा लेक्चर था. We are wanting more time for it, but I request our respected chairperson C.A. Satish Dakre sir to please felicitate our distinguished speaker. Thank you, sir. I extend our heartfelt gratitude to our eminent speaker, C.A. NIPUN sir, for their valuable time, profound insights and practical perspectives on IBC. A special thanks to all our members, participants and delegates who have joined us with such enthusiasm and engagement. Thank you once again to everyone for your presence, time and participations. I conclude this session. Thank you.